Hi, welcome to another fun week with the Leo at Home. My name is Miss Emma and I'm with Bad Dog Arts, and we are proud to partner with the Leo again this week. We are studying plants, right? More importantly, we're studying innovation in plants, and we're studying two women who are particularly instrumental in the innovation of recording plants. So, with that being said, take a walk with me around my yard and we will gather some leaves, some flowers, and whatever else we can find that'll make some good specimens. Come. Got some little flowers over here. They're just little, but they are bright, and I like them. I've got some ivy over here, and that looks like it'll be perfect to press and draw. Just gonna take a few of them. Alrighty, let's go in and let us make some art. First, let's talk a little bit about Maria Sibylla Merian. She was a German naturalist and scientific illustrator born in the 17th century, and she was a pioneer in her meticulous representations of both plants and insects. Although she's well known for being the first scientist to document the process of metamorphosis, she also contributed a significant portion of research to the study, recording, and cataloging of plants as well. Now, as technology advanced in the next century, other options became more convenient to record plants. Anna Atkins, a British botanist and some say the world's first female photographer, began exploring the method of creating impressions with them on paper using a chemical called cyanotype before photographing them. This created a brand new way of recording visual information about plants. Even though Marion used a number of different types of media to portray her plants, we are going to just use a simple pencil and eraser. We've got a little bit of color in these colored pencils if we want them. Now, I am wanting to focus on the form first and foremost. So, in the example that I'm making right now, I've got a little bit of a stem. I can shade it in or I can leave it for some color, but I've got a lot of different bits of blossom coming off. They're coming off different sides, so I'm just gonna add little lines coming off in different angles. Some of them are a little longer than others. I'm gonna pay attention to some of the details as well. You can see in the sample that I already did, I tried to leave the veins so that you could see the detail. Now, that's something that you don't have to do. If you're in a beginner stage of art, you may want to just focus on the shape and nothing else. But if you're a little bit more advanced, you could look for imperfections, little bits of tear in the leaf structure. You could look for bits of decay that you can make apparent in your picture. You can include every little bit that you want. Now I've got a little bit of a structure. Now all I'm going to do now with a little bit of purple color pencil is I'm going to add my blossoms at the end of each of those sticks, and afterwards I can use a little bit of green and color in my stem. Now again, it's up to you how detailed you want to go about it. With the remaining plants, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to press them and place them on a paper for a photograph. Now, while Anna Atkins used cyanotype to make her representations, it's not always the easiest medium to find. So instead, I just pressed them using the simple method of some heavy books. Use whatever you can for a nice flat weight. But it's going to take about a day or two. So I pressed some already. I got a flat little weed here, another leaf, just like the one I drew, and then I've got a flower. And that one I've already glued in, as you can see. So all I did was let the weight do all of the work. Now I have some glue that I'm going to use in order to secure my leaf to my paper. You don't need a lot. I used just a little trickle around that stem, and that was all, and it seemed to work out perfectly. Alright, okay. Just a little bit, easy does it. And then decide how you want it to be. No take backs. And we put it down. Now, if you have something like this, you might need some spray adhesive, but for these ones, that Elmer's glue usually works just fine. And in just a moment, we can get to the labeling. Now, in order to label our plants correctly, we first have to identify them. So we have a few ways we can go about this, but my personal favorite is an app that is free called PlantNet. All you gotta do with this app is take a picture of the plant in question, and all I'm gonna do is get my shadow out of the way and snap that picture. Now it's gonna analyze it and it's gonna give me some examples. Now once it gives me examples, I can look through them and see what looks right. The first one is the spiked speedwell, and the second one is the tassel grape hyacinth. So let's take a look at some pictures. Now that looks like it quite a bit, if these may have lost some of their blossoms. Let me take a look at the next one and compare, and they do look quite similar. I'd say this is the grape hyacinth though. So that's what I'm gonna go with. And you can see that I've got the Latin name right here in front of me, the Muscari comosum. And that is a little bit more detailed information that you can include in your label. So with a pencil or a pen, if you're bold, you can write down the name of the plant. This one being the tassel grape hyacinth, with its Latin name. We now have an identification, we have a representation visually, so we know what we're looking for, and we feel like scientists today. As you can see, it is just that easy, and although you may not be discovering those plants yourselves, you are engaging in a fine tradition. Now, we learned a lot about those two women, and I hope you explore a little bit more, but please have some fun walking around your yard, finding fun specimens to record yourself, and we hope that you have fun with Leo at Home.